The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Spears and Ali, weekday morning 7 to 9 on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD4 ESPN Tucson.
Not in time. They pulled off the shot. We're going to overtime. And Mr. Backer, you're quite prophetic.
Spears and Ali overtime on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Please subscribe, rate, and comment the Spears and Ali podcast today. Spears and Ali overtime presented by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. It has been way too long since we've done one of these things. We're going to be talking a lot of things in sports and some other shenanigans that we normally get into on overtime.
Right. We'll see where it goes. But I do have a predicament I'd like to start the show with, and I'd like your guys' advice. Not really advice.
It must be a really shitty predicament.
Well, that's for you to determine.
Getting our advice?
Yeah.
I don't really need your advice. The questions that are going to arise is, should I do it?
Okay.
And then, am I going to be able to do it?
Uh-huh.
All right. So you guys know that my son got into Georgetown Law School.
Shout out.
And it looks like he's going to be going to Georgetown Law School. And Justin, in your words, you can't wait for him to be a better lawyer than me. Fine.
I did say that.
Fine.
No, Providence is the Friars. What's Georgetown? The mascot.
Hoyas. Georgetown Hoyas.
The Hoyas.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, they're like the best one of the best basketball programs in the 80s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Allen Iverson.
Mhm.
Nothing.
I mean, yeah, but I didn't watch him in college.
Gotcha.
Hashim the beat. No, he went to UConn.
Yeah, the beat went. So the Steelers schedule, the NFL schedule came out, and the Steelers play at the Commanders. Well, in Washington, I think sometime in, I don't know, November. And I'm like, you know what?
DC in November. Good God.
I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? So I'm
During
going
election
to
year?
fly out. Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, shit. Who cares? Everything will be all right. So I'm going to go. I didn't even think about that. I should probably look up So I'm like, listen, I'm going to go visit my son at law school.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take him to a Steelers game. Now, I also have a friend who's the husband of the women's golf coach here. And that name is Jeff Iannello. Great dude. One of a VP or one of the top guys at SeatGeek. SeatGeek has a contract with the Washington Commanders. And so I was at his house Sunday for a party, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm thinking about doing this. He's like, well, I could set you up. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I know the GC of the Commanders and a bunch of their high executives, and I could definitely probably get you 2 tickets in their suite. I'm like, man, that'd be awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Here's the catch. You can't wear anything Steelers. And you got to keep the rooting to a minimum.
I was in
If
that
you're in
predicament.
the commander's suite.
If I'm in the Commander's suite.
Do it. Dude, I was in that same position literally 3 years ago. My buddy Saul at the time was working for Bally Sports, which is the flagship television station for the Phoenix Suns. Or was.
Yeah.
No
Very
longer.
much was.
But Saul told me, hey, my company, they have these tickets courtside, and I got tickets for the playoff game between the Suns and the Lakers. Do you want to come with me? And I said, oh, yeah, let's do it. And they said, okay, first things first, you got to be vaccinated because it was 2021. And also, you have to not wear any Lakers colors or be visibly cheering for the Lakers. And it's so funny that he brought up the vaccine part. I got vaccinated like maybe a few days before Saul called me. And you have to be, I think, 2 weeks removed from your second shot. And I was like 17 days or something like that. Like I was like just on the line. So I got the vaccinated part down. But man, it was really hard for me not to cheer for the Lakers.
Tell me what was going on.
While sitting courtside. This is like my favorite NBA team. I've never been to a playoff game, period. And I'm sitting courtside watching LeBron James of all players.
Right.
It was hard. But me being the Rupert the reporter that I am, I go to sporting events all the time. And one of the rules of being a sports journalist is that you're not allowed to cheer. So
Ovulate, right? That's the word.
Ovulate.
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 Ovulate. You can't ovulate.
You can't ovulate. Ovulate.
Yeah.
No cheering or ululation.
We're checking those cycles
during the games.
Yeah.
And me,
Harrison Butker is like, this damn right.
No ovulation.
You shouldn't be ovulating in the press box.
Yeah.
But it'd be great is if dinner's ready for me when I get home.
Jeez Louise.
Fucking Harrison Butker.
Harrison Butker.
Yeah.
But if you guys don't know, now I grew up an Arizona fan. I grew up cheering on the Arizona Wildcats. I went to the U of A. Like, U of A has a special place in my heart, but I've also been groomed and trained to not cheer at U of A games because I cover them. You always got to come from an objective point of view. So I've learned to go to a sporting event that has my favorite team in it and not cheer and just be locked in on my job. So to me, it was kind of like, I wasn't working at the Lakers Suns game, but you almost have to treat it like you're Rupert the reporter. So, man, it was fucking hard. It was hard, especially when LeBron James made a corner 3 right in front of me. That was awesome because during the halftime part of it, and we were sitting courtside and we had like passes and we can go get like free food and drinks and all that. It was like one of the best experiences I've ever had. And Saul told me, like, don't freaking cheer for the Lakers, dude. Like, don't cheer for the Lakers. And when we were walking back to our seats at halftime, Saul ran into Larry Fitzgerald and just started talking to him. And I was like, hey, Saul, I'm going to go back to my seat. And I'm walking. Saul's not near me. And I'm like looking down on the court. And all of a sudden I look up and LeBron James is standing like right where Andrew is. From me to Andrew is where there's the distance between me and LeBron James. And I'm like, I looked over. I'm like, Saul's not around. Hey, Braun, let's get his second half, man. Let's go, man. I started like hyping him up. And LeBron like locked in, looked up at me, gave me the nod. And I sat down. And when LeBron made that corner 3 right in front of me, he looked right at me, gave me a nod, and kept running down the court. It took everything in me to not stand up and cheer and get so hyped because I'm like, LeBron and I had a moment, and he didn't say a word to me. It was great.
You had those passes, so you could go to the bathroom and clean yourself off after that.
I was wondering, and there's another aspect to this. So it was, even though you were trained, I'm not trained.
You're a fan, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Especially the Steelers.
Yes.
And it was still hard for you. Your stomach was rumbling at times, right? So I was just wondering, like, okay, and I'll get into the other aspect. There we go. We had the side view, Justin.
Yeah. I was trying to keep it under wraps. Sorry.
You like that side boob?
Well, you shouldn't.
That's my side boob.
So can you, instead of the word Steelers, what if I used like fish sticks? It's like, all right, I love fish sticks. Let's go fish sticks.
Kanye West?
Yeah.
You're going to be a gay fish for the Commanders game?
Yeah. Yeah, but I was like, okay, we could do that, or like the little yeah.
So like Joe Pesci at Home Alone.
So I texted my son. His response was, let's not do that. Think about it. Sweet tickets in a suite at the Commanders game with Steelers, right? And then I'm like, you know what, son? Some things are even bigger than the Steelers. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, you're going to Georgetown Law School. You're going to be around the general counsel of the Commanders. And for you to get into, I think you would love to have a door open for you with a job in sports. And could you imagine how dope it would be if you could get a kind of a clerkship or an internship after your first year working for an NFL team? And then the people that you meet and the relationships you make. I'm like, it may be worth it just to eat it on this one. And he's like, yeah, you know what? That's actually a really good idea. That's a good thought. So I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it.
There's an easy way to get around it, right? It's to just
smoke
like
weed.
That too.
I
mean, that's just a given.
Yeah.
If but no, like anytime anything good happens, for the Steelers during the game, you're just like, all right, I'm going to go hit the bathroom.
Exactly. And this is how much I've thought it out. Right? I'm like, okay, can't wear Steelers gear to a Steelers game.
Well, you got it tattooed on your chest, so.
I don't, actually.
You should wear yellow.
If they win another Super Bowl, I'm going to get a Steelers tattoo.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
When they win another Super Bowl, I'm going to get a Steelers tattoo. How can I not have a Steelers tattoo? I'll get it on my shoulder or something.
Will it be the Immaculate Reception, or is it going to be like
the
logo?
The logo.
Fair enough.
With the colors and everything? You get like the blue ink and all?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I don't know. I think that, if I'm in a suite area, I've got access to a lot of different areas. So we could excuse ourselves at points. And then I thought it out this much. I'm like, okay, so if I wear a black sweater, I can have a Steelers, the standard is the standard shirt underneath it, right? And I'm ready to go. Okay, I can't wear Steelers shoes, but I got black and gold shoes that don't say Steelers on them. So I'm going through. I'm working it out.
You're towing the line, brother.
Yeah,
because I made sure, like when I went to the Lakers Suns game, not wearing any purple or yellow. I wore like a black and copper tie-dye shirt.
Yeah. Well, but there's so many alternative uniforms now. I'm sure the Lakers have a copper and tie-dye uniform.
True. Yeah.
You could have worn black. They have a black jersey. So you kind of,
that's true.
What are the Steelers alternate? They've always just been black and
all
gold,
black. Though. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like they have the all black with the black pants and the yellow stripe is their alternative jersey. So anyway, appreciate you guys letting me talk that one out. But I think I'm going to do it. And then I got to decide what other games. I might actually, I was talking to Jack Murphy, one of the assistant coach at the Eagles. Or not, with the Arizona Wild basketball Eagles. Eagles play the Steelers, or Steelers play in Philadelphia December 15th. I can't tell you who, but I believe there's going to be an Arizona basketball game on December 14th against someone
in the north,
in Phoenix.
Oh,
and I'm like, Jack, why don't we take your wife, and I'll take Christina. We'll fly from Phoenix. And we'll go to Philadelphia and we'll go to the Arizona basketball game on the 14th, fly out right after. And then we'll go watch Steelers Eagles in Philadelphia. And the only rule I have is I can't sit next to you. And I don't want to sit next to you. And you have to protect me from not getting killed by Eagles fans. Yeah. And he's like, okay, check. So looking into that one too. So that'd be, I'm making my Steelers plans. I'll let you guys know with plenty of advance notice.
Could be a pretty big year for Ollie in the Steelers.
Dude, I'm feeling good, but I don't want to say anything because I felt good after preseason last year. We will see. They just had their first OTA started yesterday. They just had their first practice. It's like voluntary off-season training. Cam Hayward didn't show up because he's in the last year of his contract, and they're talking about an extension. I mean, Cam is one of the best defensive tackles in football, but he's 35 and he's, counts like 20 million against the salary cap. So, teams have made that mistake before, right? The guy he's epitomized the Steelers and he's just won the Walter Payton Man of the Year. But teams year after year, they make this mistake of keeping guys too long and then they kind of get drowned in the salary cap. So we'll see, but they had a good first day, and I saw Russell Wilson's interview and Justin Fields' interview, and
oh boy,
I'm like,
Russell Wilson make you cringe?
It's just not cringy, but it's just like
it just doesn't seem real.
It's like
fake. It's counterfeit.
It's too good. It's too good.
That's why I'm saying it's counterfeit. He's always been a counterfeit person.
I don't
ever
know. Or is that him?
He's been a counterfeit person ever since he left Seattle. Because I don't remember this version of Russell Wilson with the Seahawks.
He was like that, man. It's just that he wasn't the focal point of that team.
But because they had the Legion of Boom, it was like the perfect yin and yang. You had the ultimate tough guys, the badasses on the defense, and then you got the goody two shoe Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Carroll, so he wasn't always the focal point.
Yeah, that's true. And Marshawn Lynch too. He's got beast mode. Like I said, it's perfect yin and yang.
Didn't give it to in the Super Bowl.
But, we'll see how that pans out. And I'm really, the one thing I'll stop the Steelers talk that came out of it is the way that the guys on the team are reacting. They're like, there's guys on the team that are like, Russell Wilson is one of the hardest. We haven't seen anybody work this hard since the early years of Antonio Brown. Speaking of bankruptcy, Antonio Brown and Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy in the same week. For some reason, that totally makes sense.
You never see Red Lobster and Antonio Brown in the same room at the same time.
You never do. And they're also known for their cheesy biscuits.
Yep.
So, and then
What does that even mean?
it doesn't mean anything. But
Or does it mean everything?
Exactly. And then the other thing that's been coming out is like, so Russell Wilson, his work ethic is off the charts. Justin Fields even talked about it. It's like every rep, he's so meticulous about his preparation, what he does. He's like, I can learn from a guy like this. And they had a relationship since Justin Fields was in Ohio State. So they're a good match.
Friends.
They're competing, but they have a relationship. And the other thing that's come out, and you know what? This is a slight on Kenny Pickett.
His hands?
No,
Small hands.
They both don't have baby hands. But the other thing is like people are applauding the leadership in the quarterback room. Is they haven't seen it in Pittsburgh since Ben retired. Who was the quarterback between Ben and the guys now? Well,
Mason Rudolph,
no, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and what's his name? Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
So, which I think is look, the biggest indictment on Kenny Pickett and the biggest indictment on any person in life is to not embrace competition. And when they brought Russell Wilson, they fully intended to keep Kenny Pickett. It's like, look, you guys, Russell Wilson's a Super Bowl winner. He's going to have pole position, but you guys are going to compete. And then maybe you'll learn a few things. And then Russell Wilson's 36 years old. And Kenny Pickett said, I'm out. Trade me. So, to me, that's the biggest indictment on him. But people are, the things coming out of camp, you just read between the lines, and then they love Arthur Smith's offense. And I can't believe we didn't fire Matt Canada earlier, but good vibes coming out of Pittsburgh. I'm cautiously optimistic, and the schedule makers did no favors to them. They play all their division games after week 11.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. They play like Browns, Bengals, Ravens, Browns 4 consecutive weeks. And AFC North football, man, is brutal. So
especially in those months.
Yeah. So and there's that. And then they play a Saturday game against the Ravens. And then they play on Christmas Day, which is Wednesday, against Kansas City.
On Netflix,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And that Baltimore game, Lamar Jackson will just be getting back from injury, so he'll be fresh.
We like when Lamar Jackson plays.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's like 1-7 against the Steelers.
Damn.
Or no, it's 2-9. It's something like that.
Either way, he'll just be getting back from injury.
You think so? He wasn't injured last year. He just sat out week 18.
It's true. Did you guys see that Joe Burrow has entered his Anakin Skywalker era?
I was just going to say, looking like a Star Wars character.
Yeah.
I saw that. And the little byline or whatever they put on it was really funny. It's like, please stick with Padme. Don't trust Palpatine.
Someone said Joe Burrow also looks like Kristen Stewart, the actress who plays in Twilight, which you've seen, right?
No.
Yeah, we watched the Batman.
I watched the Batman. Yeah,
that's what Ali says. The Batman is just Twilight with Batman.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But in every other Batman, Justin, Batman for the most part is strategic and solves crimes. There's a savvy to him, right? There's an intelligence to him.
Unless you're George Clooney.
Even George Clooney, he solved crimes. The Batman with what's his face, Twilight guy,
Robert Pattinson.
He actually doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
Every criminal tells him what they're doing.
Yeah. The amount of times he looks out a window and has an epiphany because it's already happening is amazing.
Fucking dumb as shit. That's the worst Batman. That is the worst Batman.
No.
The thing about that movie that got me was the Riddler when he was sending, like, he was trapping people, right? He had like the rat trap for the cop or whatever, like these elaborate things. And then his mortal enemy, Bruce Wayne, who all this is building up to, he just mails a bomb to.
Yeah.
Like,
he'll never suspect this.
Yeah. I'll put a bunch of question marks on it.
Yeah.
Throw him off the trail.
Yeah. To me, my only gripe was that it was too long. I thought it was good. but there were just a lot of unnecessary scenes and scenes that just made you go, what the fuck? That shouldn't have been added. Like when they're at the Gotham City version of Madison Square Garden, and Batman's just like on top of like the scoreboard. He's like about to die, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna die. I can't go on any longer. And then all of a sudden, I think like Catwoman gets like grabbed by somebody, and then he's like,
and he pops a rage boner.
Yeah, and he gets like the pen and like fucking stabs himself, and he's like, all right, I'm back, and starts fighting. I'm like, dude, why didn't you do that from the start? Why did it take Catwoman getting grabbed for you to do that? I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
He's the dumbest fucking Batman of all the Batmans that have ever Batman.
There's a reason they spun off Penguin and not Robert Pattinson's Batman.
I know you got a lot of hate for the George Clooney Batman, and I get it, but
because it's so dumb.
Yeah, but
like even like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hey, everybody, freeze.
Yeah, the corny lines. All right, good.
Chill out.
But if we did a comparison of the George Clooney Mr. Freeze Batman, and I think Poison Ivy was in that one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't that Uma Thurman?
Uma Thurman, baby.
Yeah. And this in the Batman, the dumb factor on the Batman exponentially higher. Okay. It's just the brooding, and like you said, like every other scene is him staring out a window, figuring something out that already happened. That is the best description of that movie that anybody's ever made.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So he's the worst Batman in your opinion?
It's the worst Batman movie.
Who's the worst Batman?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really bummed if you say Adam West.
No, I mean, I like all the Batmans. I mean, to me, because I'm not going to make, was it Richard Pattinson? I'm not going to blame Robert Pattinson. I'm not going to blame him completely because you work with the script that you got. But yeah, if I never saw him in Batman again, I'd be good. Everybody else I liked. I like everybody. I like Val Kilmer. I like Val Kilmer.
I do think
I like Batman. That's why I'm so disappointed, and I rail on about this. Like, you just made Twilight and Batman. Like, you put a Batman character in a Twilight movie. It was fucking dumb. Like, so dumb. So dumb. It's like Godfather 3. You had everything right there. Then you put Sofia Coppola in it. It's like fucking have him solve a crime.
Yeah.
Batman should be the smartest guy there.
Going back to the Steelers real quick. You'll be very happy that I booked Robert Golden for the show on Friday.
Oh, sweet.
And he was like, I can't do it on Wednesday, but I can come on Thursday. And I was like, I prefer you to do it on Friday. So
I think he was just
in Pittsburgh.
He was in Pittsburgh. He was in the picture with Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
They had all the old players with him.
Yep.
And for you Steeler fans out there, Casey Hampton looks great. Man, he lost a bunch of weight. It looks awesome.
So Robert Golden will be joining Spears and Ali at 8:40 on Thursday.
You might want
or Friday, excuse me.
Can we give him like 2 segments? Because I got lots of questions. I want to see what his
no doubt
thoughts of camp are, and how does he feel about Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and then tell me all good Mike Tomlin stories. That's all I want to know.
All right, before we get out of here.
Oh wow, that's it, huh?
Well, I would say keep it relatively half an hour. We got busy lives.
We do. I got to get to work.
Working.
I got to make that NIL donor money.
And you and I are both moving too at the same time, which is super weird. We're not like living together, just so you people know.
Moving in together.
That'd be a great sitcom.
The next
step. Spears and Ali.
The 3 of us living in an apartment together we would bring sitcoms back. And live studio audience. Oh my God. If you're listening out there in Hollywood, I'm telling you, solid gold.
Andrew comes into every episode saying, "Hello, nerds," or greetings, nerds.
What's up, nerds?
What's up, nerds? What's up, nerds?
Yeah.
And then you got your Buenos Dias.
Buenos Dias, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I got any. Do I got a signature greeting? I don't think so.
No, not really.
Yeah.
What's up, bitches?
So.
Yeah. We're live on the air. What's up, fuckers?
Ollie did do that.
I did. I did not know we were in the air. Remember when you were on the air and I left real quick, and then I just started I thought we were just having a conversation.
Yeah. Well, no, Andrew and I, we were talking about something. And then I mentioned something afterwards, and you're
Yeah.
like, wait, hold on. We were on the air?
Yeah.
And see, that's how it should be.
That's basically our show, man.
Yeah. We're the type of broadcasters where this is us. There's no phoniness to it. There's no acting. Sure, do we put a little mustard on some things? Absolutely. But the Spears and Ali that you get on the live radio show, the Spears and Ali that you get here, this is us.
This is no Stephen A. Smith show.
No, what's the name of our sitcom?
Oh,
We need to think about that because I see a lot of video promo opportunities out of this.
So do I.
Yeah, and we could make it like the intro from Three's Company, but it's the three of us instead. And Larry Mack is Mr. Roper.
Oh man. Come and knock on our door. We'll be waiting for you.
We're gonna do that with that song.
Three's Company.
But it can't be Three's Company.
Yeah.
Trace
Man.
Company.
No, yeah.
Just the Spanish version of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Very creative.
We got to
Just turn one of the words
brainstorm
into
it.
Spanish. Huh?
We got to brainstorm it.
Let's let this one. Yeah, let's marinate.
Yeah.
And for all you executive producers out there, no notes. We got this.
All right.
Comment if you got an idea, I guess.
Yeah. Let us know on YouTube.
So I will do this before I see you guys on Friday. I'm going to come up with a Spears and Ali. I'm going to get a Spears and Ali Gmail account.
I already have one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's post it and say Spears and Ali, Justin, Ali, and Andrew Trujillo, if they were in a comedy sitcom, what would the name be? And list. You can delete comments we don't like, right?
Yeah.
No.
A ginger, a Persian, and a Latino all live together.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Maybe that's the name of the show. Racial Soup.
Chicken poop stew.
Chicken poop stew.
Chicken poop stew.
As holes. AZ holes.
AZ holes. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know in the comments.
We're on the right track here.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you got winning conference finals for the NBA playoffs?
Well, I'm afraid that Indiana. I'm not afraid. Indiana let one slip away last night, and things like that. Things happen. But my biggest gripe is they had that out of bounds, like three-quarter court on their end. They had a timeout, so I would have maybe, if I was Rick Carlisle, called a timeout and advanced the ball to half court, which gives you the whole court to throw it in. He probably thought he was close enough, but Nembhard threw a terrible pass, and then there wasn't a lot of movement. So I think they let one slip. They should have beat Boston last night. I'm glad it went to overtime. Yes, my ringtone is
four
black and yellow.
different ringtones together.
Because I did bet Jaylen Brown going over 24.5 points, and he scored his 25th point, first basket of overtime, but 26 point. So game 2 is pivotal for Indiana. I want Indiana, Justin, but I think Boston is just too tough for him. And I think Porzingis may be back by game 3 or 4.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then as far as the Western Conference, man, I think it's going to be a great series. I'm really fascinated by how Minnesota is going to deal with Luka Doncic, who doesn't have to deal with Lou Dort, who's a very physical, good defender with Oklahoma City that they played in the last round. So I think Luka is going to go off and have, I think Luka averaged only 24 points a game against Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm. I
think Luka is going to be in the 30s against Minnesota. So how Minnesota defends Luka Doncic is going to be fascinating. And Kyrie Irving, kind of from scoring standpoint, he really wasn't a presence against Oklahoma City. So is Kyrie Irving going to start looking for his shot more? I think Anthony Edwards is going to start defensively on him. And is this the moment? Is this the Anthony Edwards moment where he puts himself not amongst the top echelon of players in the NBA, but he is the dude. Yeah. In order to get to that, you got to get to get that trophy, you got to get the Larry get the Larry O'Brien trophy. So I think it's going to be great. I got Minnesota in 7, but I'm not confident in it because I think Dallas is going to be tough to beat. And your guy, Maxi Kleber, I think may be coming back. So as a big who can shoot from the 3, bring Karl Anthony Towns out. their matchups are going to be fascinating. Towns and Gobert, and Dallas is going to be a lot more fluid and have guys that can kind of spread the floor. Are we going to see less of Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns at some points? I'm really interested. I can't wait for game 1 tonight. What about you, Justin?
I'm excited for this series. And I know that from, we said on the show earlier, that if you're just a casual NBA fan and you look at these teams, you're probably not rushing to the TV to watch it. But when you think about the new guard of the NBA, the new batch of star players, like, this is it, man. You got Luka Doncic, one of the top international players, a guy who was an MVP candidate this year. And I think you also talked about it, referencing Tim Legler, like guys like him and Jokic, you won't find a bicep anywhere, but they're also very tough.
But they're
players.
Strong as hell.
They got the game strength.
They got dad strength.
And you probably know this too. Like you've had the opportunity to play with a number of athletes who are just like that. They won't thrive in the weight room. They won't thrive on that aspect. But when you put them in the game, they're money. Like I remember I played with this offensive tackle. Shout out to John Wiedemeyer. John, one of the best offensive linemen I've ever had the luxury of playing with. But if you looked at his bench and his squat, didn't really move the needle. But when you put him in the game, he was spectacular. Luka is kind of in that mold.
Yeah.
But anyway, he looks round, he looks doughy, but he's a good player.
And
he almost looks like he's gotten in worse shape over the course of the season. Like he looks worse now than he did at the start of the year.
He's just a big man, right? And he's wide. And then for his size, 6'9"?
Yeah, the 6'8"-ish.
6'8", 6'9". His ability, they put guys that are like really athletic and like 7'2" wingspans, and like the way Luka can dribble, his ball handling skills, keep your mind out of the gutter, is incredible. I mean, when he dribbles up the court and they try to press him full court, and they've got this really quick, long guy trying to basically guard him for the whole floor. Nobody takes the ball from him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just incredible. He's an incredible basketball player. And
he bitches at the refs too much. I will say that he complains a lot.
He does. And it's going to be fun to see. There's going to be a moment with him and Anthony Edwards where they're, mad dogging each other and chirping.
But it's going to be like, Michael Jordan, when the Bulls beat the Pacers in the finals, and then afterwards he went up to Larry Bird and shook his head and said, "You bitch, fuck you." But there was that mutual respect they had for each other.
So the end of the Denver series, well, that developed. That in the beginning, it was pure hate. I hate this guy, and if he wins a championship and I don't, I am the most miserable human being on the earth. And then that friendship grew from the Converse commercial that started there when they did it way back when in like 82, 83. But like at the end of the Minnesota-Denver series, like I think it was Anthony Edwards like bounced the ball and was going to dunk it at the end, right? And Jokic was like, why? And Anthony Edwards like didn't back down. He's like pointed to the scoreboard. And he wants to kill everybody. And whether you like it or not, what he did at the end of the game, that's for you to worry about. But he when they compare Anthony Edwards at 22 to the Michael Jordans and the Kobe Bryants, the first thing on the list is the mentality of, I want to not just beat you, I want to destroy you. And in this era of basketball where everybody's buddies, right? And it's like, hey man, let's go hang after the game. You know who wasn't hanging after games? Michael Jordan with anybody in the opponents.
Yeah.
Magic and Larry Bird were not hanging out.
Kobe was like that too.
Kobe was like that too.
And that's why when he was added to the Olympic team in I think 2008, they talked about how Kobe, he's going to really like this because he's going to be around all of his friends. And then I think it was like Mike Wilbon or somebody who covers the NBA. They all just started laughing. They're like, Kobe and friends? Like, that's not a thing.
No. I mean, there's no story that epitomizes this mentality and Kobe Bryant more than when in the Olympics they played against Spain and Paul Gasol was on Spain. Paul Gasol was playing with Kobe and the Lakers, and they actually had a really good friendship. And he's like, tells Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, first play of the game, I'm running through his fucking chest. And they're like, what are you talking about?
That's his boy. That's his teammate. He's not going to do that.
You're not going to do that. First play of the game.
Pal sets a
screen, and Kobe fucking runs through him like, I don't know, like Mike Allstott, the former Tampa Bay running back, through the line, or Jerome Bettis over Brian O'Rocker. Sorry, Brian, but that was a great play by Jerome Bettis.
Oh, against the Bears?
Yeah. Just flattens him. And the reaction of guys like Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James is like, this motherfucker's different, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to do to get to that level.
Well, that was kind of the cherry on top of that trip, or the Olympic experience for Team USA, because at the start of it, whether it was in Beijing or maybe it was in Vegas when Team USA basketball was training for the summer. No, it was in Vegas. I know that because when LeBron and Carmelo Anthony and all these guys were coming back from hanging out at the clubs, they're getting in at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. As they're coming into their hotel, Kobe is walking out in workout clothes. He's got his workout gloves. I'm like, Kobe, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm starting my day. I'm going to work out. What the hell are you guys doing? And when they realize, like, holy shit, this guy is about to start working out and we're just coming back from the club. That's why he's the best player in the NBA. That's why he's lauded the way he is. And from that point forward, Kobe set the standard. He set the tone, and everyone started, rather than hanging out at the clubs, they all started working out. And then it's so funny. Carmelo Anthony in that documentary on Netflix, he was like, listen, man, I ain't going at like 4 o'clock in the morning, but I did wake up early and I started working out.
Yeah. Stop going to the club so late.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an interesting kind of transition to this year's Olympics in Paris, because you're going to have LeBron, Steph Curry, KD, right? They're all not on the back nine of their careers. They're like, a couple holes from
on the 17th hole.
They're a couple holes from the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And you're going to have Anthony Edwards at 22. And the dynamic of, is Anthony Edwards like going to become at that? I mean, he's the leader of his team. He was I can tell you guys from watching the U.S. Olympic team in Abu Dhabi this summer.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards was the leader of the guys on that team. He was.
Kobe.
I don't know what you think I was going to say, but it's just like the chemistry. And are we going to see Anthony Edwards kind of lead Team USA with guys like LeBron, KD, and Steph? And just think about, like, just saying those words. Those three guys are on the same team, but the guy that's really going to lead them is this 22-year-old kid.
And when I said, oh no, it was kind of more like, I thought you were going another direction. And I actually kind of got excited. It's more like the oh no was more of an exciting oh no. I thought you were going to reference the Dream Team when they were in Monaco and they had that game, the scrimmage.
Oh yeah.
And you had Michael Jordan on one side and you had Larry Bird and Magic on the other. And they were going back and forth. And I think Mike told them, like, yeah, you guys are a part of the past. This is the 90s now. And I am the 90s. You guys are old news. This is my shit now. And when they finally won, or when Mike's team won, he looked at them and said, I guess there's a new sheriff in town. And Magic and Bird, they were so mad. They were pissed because this up and coming Michael Jordan guy just whipped all their asses in practice. And then they realized, like, damn it, he's that guy. This is officially a new era of the NBA. And you kind of get that vibe right now.
Who else on the team? Tyrese Halliburton from Indiana. Right?
Jason Tatum. Yeah.
You know what, Justin? Like, I got chills when you're going through that. Yes. This is going to happen. Yeah. You're going to have KD, Steph, LeBron, and a couple other guys on one side. And I bet you on the other side, it's going to be Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. And they're going to have that game. And I hope they do. Fuck yes.
I'm all in.
You know that's going to happen. It has to happen. And the new sheriff in town, oh my God.
Ant-Man.
It's the best basketball game that nobody ever really
There's
saw.
no footage of it.
I know, man.
Wilt scored 100.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
We know that game.
Such a hoax.
Really?
There's no stat keeper. There's no box score. There's no footage.
It was just a marketing ploy to get people to come to NBA games.
I mean,
hey, I know we got plumbers playing in the league, but hey, this Wilt guy scored 100. Come check it out.
And you got to be there.
he was pretty damn good, though.
He was awesome.
Yeah. And, for his size and abilities in that era, it's not unreasonable.
Super athletic, too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You go and look at, like, screenshots of, like, him and Bill Russell blocking shots. Those guys would have translated to this year's league or this era of the NBA.
Somebody criticized one year Wilt Chamberlain shot too much. The next year he led the league in assists.
Unreal.
I think he averaged a triple-double. I think him and Oscar Robertson might be the only guys that average a triple-double.
Oh, no,
Jeez.
Russell.
Bill
Westbrook.
Russell?
No,
Russell Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, he
that,
did?
that 1 year.
Oh, well, why do I always forget when I'm talking about Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson to not mention Russell Westbrook? It's weird that actually Russ had a great career, man. And he was in his prime. He was really good. He was really good. Better than he thought. And just ask him. But that Oklahoma City team with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, KD, man, if they would have made the right choice of signing Harden was the sixth man.
Yeah.
They would have kept that team together.
Serge Ibaka and Steven Adams.
Yeah. That was a really good team.
Really good team. Tabo Cephalosha.
That's right.
Pretty sure my grandma took that medication once.
It made her selfless.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, before we go, though,
Who you guys got winning the Stanley Cup?
I was going to just ask you. No, I'm straight up. Our in-house hockey expert, Andrew.
Aw.
Who do you got winning the Stanley Cup?
No, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. I'd love to see the Oilers in it for personal reasons.
Well,
But-
let's just pretend some people are not following as closely as you. So give us a
Okay.
setup. Who's in it? Where are we at?
We got Eastern Conference Finals start tonight between the Panthers and the Rangers, Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers. Young talent in Florida, scrappy team. I mean, they made it to the final last year, lost to Vegas.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Hell yeah. I think they could make it through the Rangers, although the Rangers are really fucking good. Like they've got Chris Kreider, who's like setting playoff records, and their goalie. Hold on, my brain wants to say Corpusalo. I know that's incorrect.
Well, while you're thinking about that, I
Uh-huh.
have a question for Justin. Justin, you know how you talk about Doc Rivers? He's always milking that one championship with the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
Are the Las Vegas Knights still just milking that championship from last year too much?
Nah, let's check back in like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely made the first round knockout sting a lot less.
We know one thing about Justin Spears.
Hmm.
You can celebrate last year's championship one night,
Mhm.
but if you go to 2 nights, now it's a little bit too much.
How many nights did you celebrate the bubble championship, Justin?
Oh, the whole year.
But it was the Diamondbacks. I think they celebrated being in the World Series last year.
Yeah.
They didn't even win, just but winning the NL.
Yeah, they
They had, like-
celebrated their pennant.
Yeah, like the first night they did it,
They rose the banner.
they rose the banner, and then
Uh-huh.
they had a second night. I think they gave rings away. Justin Spears posted on X something, and it's like questioning. It's like it's a little cringy, is the word he used.
Yeah.
I got
Man,
killed.
he got
I got murdered by D-backs fans.
Yep.
yeah.
My issue, my issue with that is the banner. Totally get it. If you want to do ring night too, like parlay it, put it together all in one night. To do banner night on one night and then do the rings the other for a second place finish, to me that just seems a little excessive. And people were like, "Well, look at the Dodgers. They celebrated their rings and they showed the ceremony, and it was just Dave Roberts giving the rings to the players in the locker room. Like guys were in their practice clothes. They got their second place rings. I was like, oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It wasn't this whole like grand ceremony.
All right, so let me.
Well,
I
the
want you to look.
Diamondbacks haven't been to the.
I
saw
have
perspective.
no issue with the celebration. I just thought it was a little excessive.
I know we use the word cringy, right? So
Yeah,
maybe
second place.
Okay, So,
And I know that, believe me, I know that pennant rings are a thing. People kept telling me like, oh, for a guy who covers sports, you don't seem to really know that teams celebrate pennant rings. And I'm like, I get that you get rings. I understand that. But to have this whole ceremony the night after banner night for the second place finish, come on, man.
I mean, when your last pennant win was 22 years ago, I get it.
well, that's what I was gonna say. And by the way, you know,
Maybe you're right.
when
Maybe
you
I'm
have
being a
that
party
when
pooper.
you have that campfire, you light the spark and the kindling really starts smoldering. You see the wood about to, and it gets hotter, and you see the flames rising. That's Justin when you give him a little spark on certain topics, and then just watch the fire flame or whatever. But so I think you're talking with your Dodger hat on, and you know most teams haven't won a bunch of World Series and can't spend $1 billion in the offseason. Now put your Chargers hat on. The Chargers go to the Super Bowl and they lose. It wasn't a blowout. And they celebrate, hey, we've never been to the Super Bowl before. AFC champion banner one night. And then you know what? The next week, the guys on the team are getting their rings. With your Charger hat, is it less cringy?
Still
cringy.
Still cringy.
All right.
Just knock it out one time, man. And like in football, you don't really see that, right? You don't see ring nights for guys who finish second in the Super Bowl.
They just
like,
drop a banner.
Like the San Francisco 49ers this upcoming season. Are they going to have this whole thing? Like they might do it on the first game, but you won't hear anything after that. Just Dodgers or the D-backs were milking it. Not like the 08 Celtics, though. Not like them.
So, man, I'm really glad I asked that question.
Yeah. Igor Shesterkin is the Rangers goalie. Couldn't remember his name.
Rangers, Panthers.
Yeah.
So you said Florida is young and frisky.
I think if Florida gets it done, they have to get it done without going 7. I think if
what
they
is it
let
about what's the Rangers? What's about
the Rangers just have a lot of like their roster right now is kind of crazy. They
like the Dodgers?
Kind of, but they didn't spend billions of dollars on 2 guys because you're not allowed to in the NHL because there's a salary cap. That's crazy.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that'd be weird if you couldn't spend more than a certain amount of money. But
blame Marvin Miller, man.
Yeah. But the Rangers have just like a super deep bench of vets. A lot of guys, I don't know how many of them are already cup winners. I don't know if it's that many. But they've got a lot of like just vet power, whereas the Panthers are just this like scrappy, younger, but just they went to the final last year. They know what it takes. I think though, if they let the Rangers control anything, the Rangers will win. Okay. I think Florida has to do it like kind of smash and grab style, whereas the Rangers could play a 7-game series more confidently. And then on the other side, you got the Oilers and the Stars. And the Oilers just took down the top team in the league in the last round. It was close. It almost took overtime in Game 7, but they still did it. The Stars, I actually don't know how I think it was 4-2 their last series, and then first round was also 4-2. I don't know. That one's weird because it's the same thing. Dallas has this really young guy, Johnston, who's like crazy. And then the Oilers seem to just kind of be that team that was supposed to be here last year and they weren't.
Gotcha.
So
who do you got? Who do you got? Western and Eastern? I would expect Oilers. I would expect Oilers, honestly. And then Eastern, if it goes 6 games, Florida. If it goes 7 games, the Rangers. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you asked me before the playoffs started,
and
I said Florida based on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys noticed. I do like to be proven right. So I'm going for Florida.
Lawyer?
They could win their first cup.
It's an Ollie thing. It's not just lawyer. It's like I like to say, hey, I said this. Like the house case, or like Jaden Rashada suing because he says they didn't live up to his NIL deal. I said, listen, there's going to be an athlete that's not going to get his money. Then there's going to be a lawsuit. Tip of the iceberg.
That's crazy.
When will tax invasion start getting involved? When will a college football player get arrested for not paying his taxes?
I mean,
how can you? I've always wondered how that works.
It could happen. I mean, it could happen in the next 3-4 years. You're going to also see IRS start coming after these collectives because they register as a nonprofit. And if you look at the IRS guidelines, like believe it or not, paying college athletes to play for your favorite school is not a charitable category. You may feel like it is, but it's not. So the ones that set it up like that I think you're going to see the IRS. And then at some point, the NCAA, I don't even know if the NCAA is going to exist.
Yeah. So, what's the over under on like total dissolution of the?
Well, I think it's
5 to 10 years.
I think it's less. And I'm going to tell you why. And I think that what's the odds? I think minus 220 if you bet on the NCAA staying. I think, or would be having no NCAA is minus 220. An NCAA still here in 5 years, I would put it like plus 450.
Damn.
Here's why. What is the one thing that anybody non-player in college athletics, they say when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? Good rule of thumb for your kids out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to make this a law school class and start just asking questions. I'm going to give you the answer. It's all about the money. It's always been all about the money. And anytime they said it wasn't about the money, they were lying through their faces. So they didn't have to pay the players. So this House case, in addition to the $2.7 billion that they're going to have to pay, athletes that didn't get NIL from 2016 to like 2020, 21. There's also going to be a revenue share model in it. So schools will now have to share a piece of the pie with their student athletes, especially in football and men's basketball. All right. So if it's all about the money, they're going to realign so they can make more money.
The schools or the
schools. So what you're going to see is I think in football, particularly, I think you're going to see an NFL style league, right? Yep. It's going to be like either 48 or 64 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be some teams that are not invited to the party. And if it's 48, if you look at it, it's going to be Arizona or Arizona State, or it's going to be outside looking in. If it's 64, I think they both make it in. But the Vanderbilts, the Northwesterns, the schools that don't produce as much revenue as others, don't have the brand name as others, they're going to be left out. And that could happen even before. And then there's going to be, like a commissioner, and it's going to be a professional league.
Yeah, it'll be a juniors league.
Well, regarding teams getting left out, you started to see that recently with the conference realignment, right? Where's Oregon State, Washington State going?
Right.
And why? Because they're not the ultimate money-making schools in the Pac-12.
And there's a lawsuit. There's 2 lawsuits right now for Florida State and Clemson to get out of the ACC and the grant of rights. I would not be shocked if the ACC said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of Duke, NC State, maybe some other non-producing school, and Wake Forest, right? And we can keep Cal and Stanford in because they don't get anything anyway.
Yeah.
SMU gets 0. Their boosters are paying everything. And all that revenue, Clemson and Florida State, that would be having to pay for those schools, we're going to give to you. So it's getting to a point where there's no like collegiality within college athletics. It's a shark infested environment.
So essentially what you're saying is that these next few years, it's pretty much going to be a tryout for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and
football wise,
but not even on the field.
Because you're talking about Duke getting eliminated. And when I hear Duke, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a brand name, nationally recognized in basketball.
But what is the biggest revenue sport of any big time college program?
Cricket,
foosball.
Yes, you were close. So, I mean, the biggest revenue moneymaker for the NCAA is basketball, the basketball tournament. So I think the NCAA, they're paying 60% of the $2.7 billion. I think they're trying to stay relevant by saying we'll make the payment and we get to keep the basketball tournament. So you may see like a hybrid. Football all goes into something else. You're going to have to deal with the Title IX implications, and then basketball and everything else stays in the NCAA. So that's the best chance for the NCAA to stay relevant. But I think there's going to be a sea change. And you know what? We were talking about the Pac-12. If it does go to this 64 or this like super football league, like this juniors league, you could see maybe not the Pac-12, but the Pacific Division.
Yeah.
The Midwest Division.
Mhm.
I mean, you could call it the Big 12. You could call it the SEC, Southeastern. Just get rid of conference and call it division, basically.
Southeast Division, big division.
Right. And then
other big division.
And then
which one's which?
College football playoffs expanded to 12 teams this year.
I mean, that's an.
I would bet everything I have on it's going to expand, and they're going to try to make football as much like basketball as possible and make as much money as they can, not just to cover the settlement, but because of this revenue share. The schools are like, how do we create more revenue so that if we're sharing it with the players that we also we still are making enough money that we want to make.
And EA Sports would be very happy about that, because what's the title of their game? Not NCAA football like it used to be, just college football. So they get to keep the game going. College football continues to evolve. Everyone wins. But it's
players,
crazy.
You get $500 in a game if you want to be in the college football game.
Sign me up.
Did you know who didn't sign up?
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. It's like, nah.
And he let people know about it too. He didn't just like let people discover for themselves. Like he made sure, I didn't sign it. I didn't want it to become a distraction. And I'm like, you don't want to become a distraction. So you opted to not be a part of the game and then pound your chest and tell everybody about it.
Well,
seems to be like a big distraction.
No, that's not the distraction. I think it's really smart. And you know what? It makes me really like Arch Manning. So if you remember, the Texas played in the college football playoff against Washington. It was a great game. Michael Penix was awesome that game. They had the press conferences before the game. Everybody is talking to Arch Manning, and you see the table next to him.
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback. He's got nobody in front of him. It was
the man's on the cover of the game.
So I think his thought process is, look, I'm not going in the transfer portal. Quinn Ewers is coming back. I'm going to do one more year behind him. And then when he's done, I'm going to be ready.
And I will not be QB 16 in the next game. I will be Arch Manning.
Well, I don't want a bunch of people talking about, I take Quinn Ewers out of the game and I've been playing Arch Manning. I think he did it for that.
But you know it's Arch Manning.
But no, because the way the rules are now, it can't be any likeness of him. I don't even think it'll be number 16. It'll just be some dude that won't look like him. Because in the past, it used to like look kind of like the guys. They'd have different names. You can't, if you get even close, if you can mistake that it's Arch Manning, the game is going to get sued. So they're going to make like a left-handed dual threat quarterback that's like 5'11".
When Quinn Ewers gets married, that man, Arch Manning, he better be in his wedding.
Yeah. But
it's pretty noble. If that is true, pretty noble thing.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think when he says I don't want it to be a distraction, I think that's what he's talking about. And you know what? If I'm right, I mean, can you have a better fucking teammate than that? Like if you're a starting quarterback and you know everybody's calling, like we want to see Arch Manning play because of his last name, and Quinn Ewers could be a first-round pick next year.
Mm-hmm. He's on the cover of the game.
Yeah,
like he's one of the top quarterbacks in college football right now.
He's very
one
talented.
of the Heisman favorites.
And once he cut the mullet and stopped, actually took his craft seriously, because he was so uber talented, but he was kind of a goofball and immature.
He was too Texas.
Didn't put the work in. Yeah, he was what?
He was too Texas.
Yeah,
with the mullet and the pit viper glasses.
And I don't know who got to him, but somebody got to him before last season, and he cut the mullet, and he actually started studying game plans.
He was Matthew McConaughey. And Brad say, "Listen, fucker.
Yeah,
all right, we need to start winning some football games.
Rolling the booger in the Cadillac or whatever the fuck those commercials were.
Those were great.
Yeah, was it Cadillac?
Lincoln.
Before
Lincoln,
we end, can I tell you guys something? So yesterday, my brother Amir works in New York, and he's like, he overhears a conversation in New York just on the street. He's like, "I'd be happy to take you out." And what was it? I'd be happy to. Yeah, basically, I'd be happy to take you out.
Okay.
So like what the guy's talking about? Oh, for fair market value. So I'd be happy to take you out for fair market value. And logically, that is something you say to your business partner and you guys want to separate. I'm happy to take you out. I'm going to buy your shares for fair market value. And I started thinking, you know what'd be funny is if a guy said that to his girlfriend. She's like, hey, honey, I want to go to dinner. He'd be like, yeah, I'd be happy to take you out for fair market value.
So Vivace's out. Is that what you're saying? Like,
I guess it's based on your.
I'm down to take you out, but it's got to be within my budget.
Or it's got to be an even trade.
Yeah, whatever. Your personality, your looks, how good you are to me.
Oh,
fair market value. It's like, so if you guys were arguing, she's like,
see.
Take me out to dinner. It's like, well, you've been bitching at me nonstop all day, so I'm happy to take you out for fair market value. Keep that one in your guys' holster.
How about you use that?
No,
and
hell
then,
no.
And then you check that out,
yeah,
and let us know
No.
how that went.
No. I just keep getting asked if I was the 2004 PGA champion.
VJ Singh. Oh man.
Keep making the VJ sing, you know.
All right, before we get out of here, we talk about Red Lobster filing for bankruptcy, and a lot of friends that I know growing up, for some reason, Red Lobster was like their go-to place whenever they wanted to celebrate something, like a birthday, graduating for like middle school, or just something.
Shrimp
They're like,
Fest.
What?
Celebrating Shrimp Fest.
Shrimp Fest, all you can eat.
Man, I mean, how many shrimp can you eat? I mean,
a lot,
dude.
I had 5 plates once at Shrimp Fest.
So what's it?
Only because I was trying to eat every type of shrimp on the menu, which doesn't make it sound better.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah, and like the shrimp like boxes that you get at Costco, I can eat that in one sitting.
Shrimp boxes?
Yeah, they have like these like huge boxes of shrimp that's like marinated.
Oh, like cocktail
in,
shrimp
like,
type thing?
Kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's one box that has, they're like, it's like marinated in like garlic, and it's really good. You can eat it cold. You can put it on the grill, warm it up. It's great. I love shrimp. But you know, I never really went to Red Lobster growing up. I never understood the hype.
Me
but
neither.
A lot of people went there. Now they're filing for bankruptcy. I do know that they have some great cheddar biscuits.
Word on the street.
But what was like your go-to celebratory restaurant? Like when you guys were like, you know what, let's go out to eat. Ollie did great on his bar exam. Let's celebrate.
Well, before the bar exam, and if you're from Tucson, get ready to be excited. So the go-to celebration restaurant was Bobby McGee's. And Bobby McGee's was one of the best restaurants ever. All the waiters and waitresses, they dressed up in costume, like superhero costumes. And it was just like a fun place, and the food was really good. So that was it then. I'm taking my dad to dinner for his birthday tomorrow to Vivace.
Nice.
So now it's like Vivace. I really like Wildflower. I like Wild Garlic. Those are some good places. And then, you know, you can't go wrong with any of the, you know, El Charros and any kind of Mexican food. But yeah, it was Bobby McGee's. And then again, if you're really old school Tucson, the Barons. 22nd and Wilmot. It's where I worked as a busboy at 14, and I would work till 2 a.m. And my dear,
it's illegal,
sweet mom would pick me up in her station wagon every night. Every night I was working that late.
Damn.
Still illegal.
It wasn't like 2 a.m. It was like midnight. I think I could work till midnight. Yeah, but Barron's was a great restaurant, and then it became like a club. They had a dance floor, and I can still remember to this day. I used to hate Sade because there was this like middle-aged white guy singing "Smooth Operator" over and over again every night, and I'm like, God, that song, I hate it. Smooth Operator, you know, and he's doing all that thing.
You're like a 40-year-old virgin with the Michael McDonald songs.
Yes.
And you're like, listen, nothing against him and what he's got going on, but like, if I hear Yamo Be There one more time, I'm a Yamo burn this place to the ground.
Yeah. Never forget. They had the best marble bread, the best salad dressing, really good food. So yeah, Barron's and Bob McGee's. Do you guys have like anything now? Like
growing up, it depended on who I was with. If it was like something that my grandpa was celebrating, we almost always went to Silver Saddle Steakhouse.
Oh yeah,
on the west side.
Classic.
It's still there, right?
Off I-10?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in like a year and a
Silver
half.
Saddle on the west side. Isn't there? What's the place right off of Campbell and River?
Camel and
Oh,
River.
Fleming's?
No, it's a steakhouse.
Oh, El Corral.
El Corral.
Yeah, that place rules too. No, that place is awesome. I live right next to that place, and the tamale pie still amazing.
Wow.
But yeah, it was usually Silver Saddle or like El Minuto next to the TCC.
Yeah.
Or Minidito. If I was with my dad, usually it was like my grandma really fucked with hometown buffet.
Yeah, baby.
So we would go there like all the time, and it was
Right next to the mall?
yeah, R.I.P.
Yep.
R.I.P.
The hometown buffet.
Nowadays, I don't
You
know.
did.
I don't really know if I like go specific restaurants to celebrate stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Used to be Claim Jumper for us.
Yeah.
Shout out to the motherload cake. That was
like 8-layer chocolate.
the
cake.
8-layer cake. Oh my God, it was so good. Like one piece was like a cake itself, you know. But they closed that down. Now that's a Portillo's. We're all very happy about that. It was Claim Jumper. Minidito was a common place.
Oh, now it's probably Dante's Fire for me.
Oh,
Dante's Fire.
Yeah, that's definitely
Shout out Ken Foy.
Yep.
Man, every time I go there, he's so good to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good to me.
Maybe Oregano's. I put them.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
We've been to
Or
Oregano's a lot
Bianchi's.
to celebrate
Pizza?
stuff. Pizza, the thin crust.
Yeah. The thin crust is good.
It's really good.
They got good salads too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called the Diablo chicken salad. It's really good. I know oregano's and I'm having a salad. I know. I mean, I went to Cheeseburgers and Beer to celebrate my girlfriend's kids' graduations, and they had burgers and
Beer.
beer. Well, I had beer, and I'm eating a Caesar salad with chicken, but no Caesar dressing, just red wine vinaigrette. It was great.
I commend your discipline.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it.
just ate a couple of fries on the side, and that was good. It was good. In fact, cold beer and cheeseburgers, they're salad. I really like that salad.
The guy who gave Bruce Pascoe shit for
Yeah.
liking a good salad for
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, I'm still gonna give him shit. I'm trying. I mean, I'm doing something. I'm just getting healthier,
Yeah.
right? Making sure everything. As you get older, you gotta give up some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't given up alcohol. I don't know if I ever will. But you know, a couple glasses of red wine instead of other things is good.
Good for the soul.
Good for the soul. And I mean, a lot of people in the Mediterranean drinking glasses of wine, living long time. And when they call it, he's talking about what is it called? The monster truck cake.
Oh, motherload cake.
Motherload.
The monster truck cake.
The monster truck. I mean, it's like a monster truck.
They call, like, you know, you should get on the Mediterranean diet. And I'm like, yeah, that's with the kind of food, but also maybe eat like a Mediterranean. Like, your portions do not need to be like bigger than your head. Like, the portions that some of these restaurants serve is just like, and people expect it. It's like, hey, you know, you want to do to cut costs? You don't need to raise the prices. Just make the portions like sustainable for a normal human.
Mhm.
And if they don't like it, then they go somewhere else.
Yep.
I mean, literally, we go to places and we order like, I'll, you know, can I get the half salad, or can we share? And it's like, the half salad is a full salad.
Yeah.
The full salad is a family style salad, or whatever you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the Cheesecake Factory. Like, can I get a third of whatever is you're going to put on my plate?
Mhm.
Because that's plenty of food for a human being
Mhm.
for dinner, lunch, whatever.
Well, that's why now, whenever I go to a restaurant and if I order a salad, I ask them, what's the difference between a half and a full?
Yeah,
Like Barrio Brewing, shout out to them. They got some big ass salads.
they do.
And like their half salad was plenty for a big boy like me.
yeah,
I can't imagine the family style full salad that some people are
I
ordering for
don't-
themselves. And it's a salad, but is it really healthy eating if the salad is still 1,600 calories, 1,800 calories?
It's a shitload of fiber, I tell you what.
That is true.
it is a lot of fiber. So, man, you know what? Our show Overtime, it really lives up to the name.
Went a little overtime.
Because we always say, he always tries to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes.
And then we end up talking basically another 40 minutes.
Yep.
And it flew by.
That's usually how I know it's about the halfway point. All right, before we get out of here.
All right, before we wrap things up here.
Just kind of like
just
when
like
you tell
Justin's
them to wrap.
interviews.
You're gonna say.
Real quick before we let you go.
Justin, one
Hey,
more
we
question.
should be wrapping up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, really quick,
always like,
if you could pick the 5 people you would want to play
Right.
Baccarat with on the back of a cruise ship in the 40s, who would it be?
yeah. Hey, Jack, I know you really like James Bond. Name your favorite James Bond movies all in order.
Yeah, and why?
That's a great question. It's a great question. And that's sarcastic, by the way. Me saying great question.
Twice, by the way.
No.
Yeah. Actually, 3 times. 3 times.
All right, great show today, fellas. That is it for Spears and Ali Overtime. Check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe, rate, and comment. We're trying to get our YouTube numbers up. So if you can leave us a good review and subscribe, share with all your friends, we greatly appreciate that. Also hit us up on Apple, Spotify, and do your thing there. We'll be back next week.
Good job, boys.